Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Waterlad podcast presented to you by Betcha. And here's a little sample of what's about to come in this episode.
Growing up with the dream to be an All Black or play rugby or whatever, and then again, like, quite surreal. Like, I'd played a wee bit of club footy, played 19s, and then was signing this professional contract as a 19 or 20-year-old. I feel like I owe a lot to rowing because of, I guess, the work ethic it kind of taught me. I've obviously been fortunate enough to have a 5 or 6 year professional career now, and the training I did at school for rowing would be the hardest I've ever done. And he said, look, I'm really sorry, we're not going to pick you, but we want you to come in as injury cover for 2 or 3 weeks. And I was stoked. I was at home with mum and dad, and mum left the day earlier, and I was like, look, I'm saying goodbye to you as my mother for the next 3 to 4 weeks and saying hello to you as my nutritionist.
So then your big decision to move up to Auckland?
It was bloody difficult because
What lad? Well, today I'm joined by one of the greatest lads in New Zealand rugby. The towering 2.05 metre lock has been a dominant force in New Zealand rugby over the past few seasons, playing for Canterbury in the NPC and, of course, the Blues in Super Rugby, where he became a huge part of the 2024 Super Rugby title. And his form was so good that year that he forced his way into the All Blacks, earning 6 caps so far and scoring one of the greatest tries ever. Also, according to a very good source, he's someone who doesn't take himself too seriously and is a great man to have a beverage with. It is, of course, the champion man himself, Sam Gordon Darry. Welcome, mate.
Cheers, mate. Thank you very much for having me on. I think 205 I'll be pretty happy with.
Is it 203?
Yeah, 203
I
is...
I had mixed sources.
I'll take
there.
205, don't get me wrong. Right?
You've probably put 205 down the odd time.
You can tell that to Razor if you want.
What does he say? Yeah, 201 or something?
Yeah, probably. But no, I think 203 is the official measurement. Wow.
Yeah.
It's as official as it gets, at least.
They always give it a little bit of extra.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what the intro's all about. But I did get confused because obviously Sam, Larry, Darry... Oh, Lamb Barry Darry is your name on Wikipedia.
Yeah.
So that's obviously your mates playing a bit of fun with you.
Yeah, I actually get this quite a lot, actually. We had a golf promo for the Blues a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And the first thing the guy asked me is your middle name really Larry, Barry, Harry? And I was like, mate, my parents would have to seriously hate me to give me that name. But no, yeah. Over the years, my mates, I don't actually know which mates it is. Like, I always ask them, like, what have you guys done this? And I don't know who it is, but they like to mess with a few of my Wikipedia stuff. Like, I think I was married to Valerie Adams for a while there, and there's a few others.
Can we say is not true?
Yeah, this is not true. Yes, this
never
is not
been
true.
in a relationship.
I'm sure she's a great girl, but
it was never a thing.
No, it was never a thing. So most of it kind of gets regulated by someone. I don't know who's got the time for it, but that managed to stick. So yeah.
Oh, it's good stuff. But the official middle name is Gordon.
Gordon, yeah.
After the great Gordon Hunter.
Yeah. So I didn't have the pleasure of knowing Gordy, but Dad was very close to them. So Dad was in the police and played for North Otago. I think he played a game for Otago potentially, and was coached by Gordy a lot.
Oh, true.
And was in the police with Gordy. So I guess was quite like a father figure to Dad. And then kind of. I think he passed away just after I was born, potentially from his cancer. And I was named after him, which is I guess pretty cool because now up at the Blues we play for the Gordon Hunter Trophy against the Highlanders. And I think it's quite cool because it's a trophy that means a lot to the Highlanders because of what he did for rugby down there. And I think a few of the boys up north probably, weren't quite, aware of who he was and what he'd done. So, Vern kind of got me to speak about it a couple of years ago.
I was going to say, have they got you tapped into that?
It was pretty cool. And as I say, like I probably didn't know too much about him at the time, so I had to give Dad a ring, and Dad was actually pretty emotional about it. It's quite funny. He did a speech to the Highlanders about it like 5 6 years ago, about Gordy. And then here we are, 5 years later, and I'm doing one to the Blues. So
have they got your dad up to speak to the Blues?
No, they haven't yet. They haven't yet. I try to keep him as far away as possible.
Because Highlanders won that this year, didn't they?
No, because it's only played for home games. So we hold
home
it.
games.
Yeah, so they obviously beat us down in Dunedin, but we didn't have a game at home against them. So
so you keep it?
Yeah, so we haven't lost it yet, so I'd like to keep it that way.
Mate, that is good stuff.
Yeah.
And obviously your shoulder, you've been out this year, having a frustrating year with your shoulder. Looking good though. No sling, looking strong. You've bulked up.
Wow.
How's it feeling?
It's feeling good. Feeling really good, actually. Hoping to be back about a month from now. So we've got a pre-season game for Canterbury against Manawatu. And I think I'm aiming for that. But if it's round 1 or round 2, just pretty excited to get out there, to be fair. It's been a pretty long road. It's gone quickly, to be fair. Like, I've stayed pretty involved, but it's definitely frustrating not being able to play. And, as we kind of get closer, it's just getting more and more exciting.
How'd you do it?
It was honestly seemed so innocuous. Like, we had been, because I had that kind of All Blacks rest break over summer, which was a bit longer than usual. So I kind of came back in a bit early just to kind of keep ticking over and doing a few things. And it was our first official day back, and we did this contact drill. And I'd kind of been in for a few weeks, so I was like, I'll get in. And a few of the other boys sat out. And I literally just kind of made a chop tackle on Ricky Riccatelli, and I ended up kind of grass cutting him a wee bit, and ended up flat on my chest with my arm outstretched, and he's kind of fallen back on top of me.
Because he gets so low, doesn't he?
That's the thing. And he's like, at training, he's like the most hundies guy. And like, I'm a bit like that. But so I was kind of going into the drill thinking, right, I've got to
get low.
I got to get low and get up for it because he's going to go hard. And then, ended up just kind of grass cutting him, and he landed on top of me, and my shoulder just flattened out. And it obviously hurt, but at the time I was like, it didn't seem like too much. And then saw the physio, went inside, and the doc was testing it, and it dropped out again. And then a couple scans, couple weeks, and I was under the knife. So it all kind of happened very quickly, and it probably didn't really set in, I reckon, until round 1. Like, I think, it didn't. You kind of just get on with it, like there's nothing you can do about it, so you get on with it. But being at round 1 against the Chiefs at home, repeat of last year's 2024's final, even like the little things like smelling the deep heat in the changing room, that just, I don't know.
Set you off.
Yeah, like I was sitting there and I was just like, kind of all just hit me, and I was like, far out, this is going to be a long year. But after the first few games, you kind of get used to it and realise it is what it is.
Yeah, especially seeing the boys struggle as well early in the season, knowing that you would have been able to make an impact. They obviously missed you out there, so like that feeling, knowing, man, I just want to get out there with them. Yeah,
that's the other thing. Like, you kind of feel quite helpless. Like, as you say, like, you're wanting to, like, I was helping out behind the scenes with the line-outs and all that kind of things, but at the end of the day, you can't be out there. And as you say, you just kind of, all you want to do is, you hear everyone talking about it and see the results, and all you want to do is just get out there and be able to kind of impact it, I guess. So, it's very frustrating.
Mate, that's cool to hear you helping behind the scenes. What was your sort of role, like line out D, line out? Yeah,
a lot of stuff around the line out mainly. It was a bit of a weird one. Like, I had a few people tell me that it's best to try and get away a wee bit.
Yeah.
And I definitely did. Like, I went away for a few weeks in the middle of the season, but you can't really keep me away. Like, I'm a bit of a code head at heart, and like, I love lineouts and everything. So I guess helping in that space, because obviously when you're playing, you got so much on your plate. So I was kind of like, well, I've got a lot of free time all of a sudden. Like being able to help in that space and just, I guess, more just with the preview, review, and planning around what the week looks like for our lineout. Yeah.
Were you always a code head from a young age?
Yeah, massively. I think it's probably come from Dad. Like, Dad's probably a bigger code head than me. Like, absolutely loves it. Like, he'll ring me probably 2 or 3 times a week when I'm playing, even when I'm not playing. Oh, how's the week been? How are the boys feeling? Yeah. And I'm like, mate, I spend all day at rugby. The last thing I want to do is come off the field and have you calling me for a bloody live review. But like, growing up, I've got an older brother as well, and we used to watch a lot of footy. Like, Dad would just sit there and watch, and we'd just sit there and, I guess, pick up little things. And like, our family's very rugby orientated. I think I've got 2 sisters and an older brother, and we all played rugby growing up, even the girls. So I think they gave it up pretty quickly, but I think it was the easiest thing for Dad to just get us all down there at the rugby club, and made looking after us easy.
How much older is your brother?
So my brother's 2 years older, and then I got an older sister who's 4 years, and then a younger sister who's 2 years younger.
Yeah. And was it you and your brother just battling it out?
Always battling it out. And I think Oh, there used to be some massive. We used to end in fights all the time. Mum would have to come out and sort it out. But honestly, I think it's just awesome. Like, having someone like that and we lived out in the country, not quite country, but kind of a bit rural.
Yeah.
On a 10-acre block, so I had a bit of land, and we'd just get home from school, spend all afternoon kicking the ball around. So it's awesome.
Was he big like you, or you?
Yeah, he was tall. I think he's probably 6'3".
Oh yeah.
And I think once I started to get bigger than him, he very coincidentally stopped wanting to play footy out in the backyard. So I don't know what that's about, but no, he was always. We were both kind of tall, lanky kids. So we had some good battles.
When was your growth spurt?
Probably around maybe 12 or 13. I've always been tall though. Like I don't know if there's actually one point you could pinpoint and say I really shot up then, but I remember seeing some photos when I was about probably 10 or 11 and I was a wee chubby kid. And I remember my brother used to always give me a bit of jiff about it. And Mum would always say, oh, it was just when you were storing your fat before you could grow. So whenever people ask me this question, this is what I come back to and say, right, that must have been just before I grew. So
Well, that's the other part of it. Obviously, your mum's been the All Blacks nutritionist for about 17 years, or one of the longest standing staff members in the environment there. So you obviously had that throughout your whole teenage life, or even some of your young childhood.
No, it's we're very lucky, to be fair. Also, just like the opportunities that it presented us with. Like obviously at home, it's incredible because, and I don't think I probably realised it until I left home, to be fair. Like I went and I boarded at school my final year, and all of a sudden there was cakes for morning tea and like dessert. Well, we had dessert, but like all these things. Whereas like at home, I'd get home and in the pantry there'd be like Vita Wheat crackers and there'd be hummus and there'd be all this kind of stuff. And that was all I really knew, But then, on top of that, like the opportunities we got were just amazing. Like, obviously growing up with the dream to be an All Black or play rugby or whatever. And then Mum's kind of in the team and you get to go to a few trainings, and we'd go and visit her. Like I remember they used to stay at the George, and we'd come and sit in the foyer and wait for her, and all these All Blacks would walk through, and I'd just be sitting there like like a little kid in a candy store, just overawed by everything. But it was pretty incredible. We were afforded some pretty cool opportunities growing up.
Yeah, that's cool. Who was your hero growing up? Who was
Israel Dagg was my favourite player. Actually, I've got a photo. I don't know why. Like, obviously, I'm a lock. I was never been a back or anything, so I don't know where it came
You're a
from.
skillful lock, though, weren't you?
But I think it was. I think it was one of those South Africa tests where he scored a freakish try. I think it was one of his first
dummy
games.
cut and
Go step down the left side. Through about 5 or 6 people. I think that was where he kind of became my favourite player. So
that was the moment.
Yeah, so got to meet him a few times, and it's pretty funny now, kind of being all grown up and meeting him, doing a few kind of media stuff with him, and we always kind of have a bit of a laugh about it.
Yeah, mate, so good. And so your diet as a kid, like, was that, you said it was hummus and crackers, was that basically really strict from much as you can remember?
It wasn't really like necessarily so strict. It was more just like, obviously at that young age, you're not really going out to buy stuff for yourself. So as I say, it was,
you eat what you get.
Like you get given your lunchbox for school, and I remember like obviously being a kid, you can't try and trade a few things in the lunch, and I'd have like peanut butter and banana sandwiches, and someone would have like bloody packet of chips, roll-ups. Roll-ups. I used to always try and get roll-ups. Like, oh, they were so good. And we'd have like, as I say, like crackers, peanut butter, and banana sandwiches, bananas. Like, and obviously at the time I was like, oh, this is pretty shit. But,
so you weren't happy about. I remember talking to Cole Preston, who was like so anti eating a muesli bar just because of his own commitment to his own nutrition. And you've got like Taha, who was eating really whipped cream pies or whatever it was, just like the complete opposite. But you were like you were fed really healthily, but you're keen to eat whatever you could.
Yeah, well, I think being bloody 9, 10, 11 years old, I think anyone's keen to eat whatever they could. Like I remember we used to, and I'm convinced that Mum would just do it just to kind of get us out of the house, but there used to be there still is a BP probably about 3K from our house.
Yeah.
And you used to be able to walk across these paddocks. There's a whole subdivision there now, but you used to be able to walk across all these paddocks to get there, and she used to give us like $5 each, I think. Or it might have even been like $2 or $3 each. All those kids, and say, righto, you're allowed to walk to the dairy or run to the dairy and get whatever you want and come back. And obviously we're bloody 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. So we'd be out there for hours trying to get to this dairy, get ourselves like a zombie chew and like a fizzy drink or something, and then bugger off home.
Worth it.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, obviously we just didn't really know any better, and it was just such a treat whenever we got to do that.
Yeah.
But as we got older, I think she realised that, that we're allowed to figure it out for ourselves, and I wouldn't say Dad's the kind of healthiest either. So, it kind of definitely changed as we got older. But I'm very thankful for it. Like, I imagine it's played a big part in developing and being tall and fit and strong, whatever. So, yeah.
Oh, massively. And then you moved to Christ College for schooling?
Yeah. So, I was out at West Melbourne primary. Loved it there. Went to Cobham Intermediate for a year, and then into college. My older brother went, so kind of had a wee look around at obviously Boys High. Christchurch Boys High is quite a traditional rugby school down here, but my brother had enjoyed college, and Mum and Dad were pretty keen on me getting a decent education. So went to college. And
was footy the dream at this point? Were you pretty committed on being a footy player?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I was committed on being a footy player, but I absolutely loved it. Like, as I said, I've always been a coathead. Like, I'd watch it all the time. I'd like any chance I got, I'd be playing footy. Like, I think I played cricket in the summer at that point, but it was never really that serious. It was always footy.
Yeah, and then a bit of rowing?
Yeah, so played through, year 9 and 10, and then at college you're not allowed to row till the end of your first year, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
And same thing, like my older sister had rowed, older brother had rowed, and got into it, and honestly, probably one of the toughest things I've ever done. Like, it set me up so well, I reckon, to go on further, and also just to understand what it is to work hard. Because obviously through footy, like at school especially, you work hard, but you're kind of just doing what you're told. And there was quite a bit of pushback actually, because as footy, like I guess through, I think it was year 11, I was in the first 15, and at the end of year 10, they were like, there was a wee bit of chat around whether rowing was the best thing for footy, because obviously they're quite different. Like rugby, I was a skinny, lanky kid. Like, they're trying to get me to, not so much at that age, but especially as I got older, put on a wee bit of weight.
Yeah.
And then, you go and train like a dog for 6 months. It's probably not exactly the most conducive thing to putting on weight. But, and that kind of, I guess, internal battle got a bit worse as I got older, like year 12, year 13 especially. But like the rowing coaches were always adamant that it set me up well, and it did. Like, I would always, at school especially, I'd always come back and do the best. I think it was yo-yos we did back in the day, and all us rowers would come back, and we'd probably have about a week or two between seasons. So like, we hadn't been running at all really. Yeah, we'd do like 2 or 3 running sessions and come back and run the best yo-yo.
Let's go.
And like, like the rowing training is, honestly, you train. As I say, like, I've obviously been fortunate enough to have a 5 or 6 year professional career now, and the training I did at school for rowing would be the hardest I've ever done.
Really?
Well, just because because you're off your feet, and it's not a contact based sport. Yeah. You kind of recover a lot quicker, and you can do a lot more within that. So like, you're on the water, you're in the rowing, like the erg machines. We did a few altitude chamber sessions in the erg machines. You're doing weights. We'd do camps down in Twizel where you're 10 days of pretty much 2 or 3 sessions on water a day. Yeah. And like, it was incredible though. Like, I feel like I owe a lot to rowing because of, I guess, the work ethic it kind of taught me.
Did you ever think about becoming a rower?
Nah. It was like, I think the beauty of rowing. I think the beauty of rowing at school is the camaraderie of it. Yeah. So like, as I say, we used to do 3 camps a summer, and they'd be 10 days each, and you'd go down to Twizel, and we did one during school time actually, which was always good fun because you get a bit of time back at school. But it was literally like, I was very fortunate again. Like, we had a group of, I think it was about 15 of us that rowed all the way through to year 13. So like, here we are, these school kids that get to go away for 10 days with all your best mates in the peak of summer, and like, we used to row. I think it'd be like 6 till 8:30, and then 10 till 11:30 or something. So then from about 12 till 5, you got the day off, and we'd go to the river and go swimming and do all sorts, and then we'd row again in the evening. But once you kind of leave school, that camaraderie kind of goes a wee bit, I think. And as I say, like rugby was always the thing for me, but rowing the training, as I said, is very hard. Like I was like, I can do it to now, and the enjoyment of the racing and stuff is awesome. But like a lot of what you're training for is literally for one race. Like you train for Māori, and that's kind of it. So it is a lot of training for not
One
a lot
moment.
of reward at
Yeah.
times.
True.
Exactly.
And you're obviously talented on the field too. Like your rugby, your first 15 captain, you were Canterbury under-19 player of the year. Like you were highly regarded on the footy field as well.
Yeah. I guess I was pretty lucky. Like as I said, I was always very tall from a young age. So coming through first 15, especially in Christchurch, where we don't have the biggest first 15 comp. Like I guess not quite compared to Auckland. You don't have the size, but so being tall, being lanky, kind of helped, I guess. And was in there for 3 years. Fortunate enough to captain in my final year. But yeah,
did you win quad?
Yes, we did.
Did you?
Yeah, we won quad.
Geez.
Yeah,
What a skipper!
Yeah, we played in 2 quads. The first one actually we played in Nelson against Nelson College. It was actually quite a good yarn. Cam McIntyre was our coach.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, and he we had a meeting. I remember in one of the classrooms. I think it was even the morning of the game. And he goes, like, whatever we do, we've got to be accurate with our kicking because, the Nelson had Leicester playing for them.
Oh, yeah.
And they go, whatever we do, every kick's got to go out. Like, it's got to go out. Anyway, they kick off. We set a ruck, first kick off of the game. Our first 5 misses touch. Leicester catches it, runs through the whole team, scores under the post. I'm not even kidding, 30 seconds into the game. And I was like, far out, we could be in for a long day here. So, yeah, lost that one. But yeah,
He was a beast at school.
Oh, he was an absolute beast. Like, he was honestly like a man amongst boys. Like, he would just run through whole teams. And that was the whole thing, was like, keep the ball away from him. So, yeah, we lost that year, but then, we went up to Wanganui and won my final year, which was pretty awesome.
Oh, mate, what leadership from you.
Yeah, wow, that's what it was all down to, I think, at the end of the day.
How tall were you at school?
I think I was pretty similar, to be fair. I think I might have just been under
205.
Yeah, 205, yeah. No, I think I might have just been under 2 meters at the time. But yeah, we had some good fun at school. We played, this is a result that potentially probably one of the toughest results of my career, I reckon.
Really?
We played Christchurch Boys High in the final, and college had never won the comp. I think it was the UC Championship or something at that stage. They'd never won it. And we had a pretty good team. We'd had a pretty good year. I think we lost to them in the inter-school throughout the year. And Louis was their captain at the time. Him and I were like pretty good. No, we weren't too close at the time, but we'd kind of got to know each other a wee bit. And anyway, we played the final, and it was 18 all, I think it was, on full time. And we lost because they'd scored more tries.
Oh, no extra time.
No nothing. And we, to be fair, we knew the rules, like we knew what it was. We went for a drop kick with about 30 seconds to go, which fell short, which the guy who kicked it still gets a heap of shit to this day. But there's honestly like one of the results that, because we'd never won it, we'd never gone to the South Island final, we'd never done any of that. And here we are like drawing the final and somehow losing.
That's robbery.
Absolute robbery, eh? Like, I actually remember doing
80 minutes.
At 80 minutes. Like, we're school. Oh, no, 70 minutes. It was only 70 minutes.
Of course, 70
like,
minutes.
We're school kids. We're all bloody. I think we had a week during the season. We played 3 games in a week. It's like, we can give us another 10, mate. Like, give us another 10 or even like a kick-off or something.
Oh, you
like,
and Louis Chapman should have just had a handshake agreement. Let's go.
Yeah, mate, absolutely rips me
he
to
would
this
have been
day.
celebrating.
Yeah.
Oh, mate. So then what was your pathway out of school?
Yeah, so was fortunate enough to kind of have a few, I guess, offers. Had a meeting with the academy up in Christchurch. I had a meeting with Webby, Dave McLennan and a few others, and laid out the kind of pathway of what that looks like. So that was quite attractive. But in my mind, like I'd seen my sister go down to Dunedin for a wee bit, see my brother go down there. I was born down there. Mum and dad were from down there. So in my kind of own head, I'd always thought I'd go to Dunedin to study and play a bit of rugby. And they approached me, flew me in, I think it was me and mum or dad down, had a look around their facilities. And again, it was pretty attractive, like Dad was probably wanting me to do that the most. Obviously, like, he had quite a big tie to the region, and so did I a wee bit. So it was quite attractive from that point of view. But I think in my head, I knew that if I went down there, my rugby would probably take a wee bit of a back seat. Like, I know that obviously the social side of things down there is pretty, that's what people go there for, really, isn't it?
And you love it.
Yeah. So I was like, I know if I go down there that's probably going to take centre stage, and rugby might potentially fall on the back burner. And obviously the facilities and the academy system in Christchurch is just incredible. Like, I think there's a statistic that Webby said that I think it was something like 85% of people that come into the academy will go on to be professional rugby players.
It's a crazy stat,
and it's like, you tell that to someone coming out of school, like, far out, you'd be silly not to.
You're basically signing up to be a pro, aren't you?
Exactly. So obviously it was tough, but it was a wee bit of a no-brainer in the end. Like, I knew that what was best for my footy was to stay here. Went into the academy, went into uni, started off a law and commerce degree, played at the high school old boys club.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't quite, it's weird, I grew up in Christchurch my whole life, never really was, because I played out in the country growing up, so never really knew about the clubs, and it sounds stupid, but I didn't really realise that high school old boys was like a bit of a, I guess, parent club for Christchurch Boys High School. Oh. So everyone's like, what are you doing going to high school old boys as a cross college old boy? And I was like, wow. Didn't really know much about it, to be fair.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah. So I got down there to training, and there's all these boys high old boys, and I was just this one little cross college boy. But it was awesome. Absolutely loved the kind of club atmosphere. Had a wee bit of a tough year with I broke my knuckle at one point.
How'd you do that?
I was in the.
Doesn't sound like a rugby.
No, it was. Yeah, you're right. Actually, that's a great point. But no, it was. I was in the. I think it was the junior nights or something. This was actually pretty incredible. Like, I'd been probably out of school for about 2 months, and they have those Crusader nights games or whatever. And a few of the All Blacks boys had come. I don't know why or what the situation was, but they needed to get a game or something under their belt. Yeah. So they came and trained with the Knights for 2 days, and we played an internal game, and I genuinely would have been 94, 95 kilos dripping wet, and we were going up against Scooter Barrett, Joe Moody in this trial game, and I was far out. And then the week later we had training. Those boys had all gone into Crusaders camp by then, and was just tackling Tarms, Tamati Williams, in a tackling drill. One of those 3-on-3 drills, someone gets thrown the ball, go. And again, I'm still 95 kilos dripping wet, and he's probably what he is now, 135 or whatever. And just broke my knuckle and was out for kind of 6 to 8 weeks. But it was, at the time, I was really frustrated, because obviously you're coming out of school, you're very driven, and I was in that kind of night stuff, which, as I say, you're rubbing shoulders with All Blacks, which was pretty incredible. But it was probably a wee bit of a blessing in disguise, because I got to kind of be a kid for a little bit. Yeah. I was at uni, and I think that was halfway through O Week. So was meant to have a game that weekend, and Electric Ave was on. And obviously kind of just got to live out that side of everything, because obviously rugby can happen quite quick, and it did for me. And I'm very grateful for that. But I guess it was nice to have that time to kind of, as I say, be a kid before everything kind of took off a wee bit.
Yeah, because it did take off after that, didn't it? You're in the NPC set up pretty quick.
Yeah. So, I think it was played high school, boys won the championship that year.
Oh, did you? First year?
Yeah, which was pretty special memory. I think I remember one of the older boys saying that you probably don't realise how, because obviously you come in there, you win it your first year, you're thinking, how good, do it again next year. But they were saying, I don't think we've won one since, and I think we didn't win one before, for another, before that, 8 or 9 years or something. So that was pretty special, and got quite close ties to the club now. Still go down there and go back to a few trainings and stuff, and keep in touch with a few of the boys. So that was pretty special. But then, got a call from Canterbury. I think that year I didn't play. I went in and trained. So we had our 19s tournament, which we were fortunate enough to win as well. We had a stacked team.
He's just a winner.
Well, I was at a young age. No, we had a stacked team that year as well. I think we had Tarms, Fletcher Newell, Louis, Isaiah Punavai, a few others that I've probably missed off the top of my head. But yeah, stacked team. And then I was fortunate enough to go on and do a few days training with Canterbury, which again was pretty surreal. Like, as I say, I was just a uni student at the time.
Yeah.
Like,
Are you still a massive code head at this point?
Oh,
massively. Posters
massively
on the wall? Or
not quite that extent. I probably had to take them down after that. No, not quite that extent, but definitely still loved it. Like, knew who everyone was before I went in there, like introducing myself. And
I know. Weight and age.
Weight and age, how many caps they played, how many points they got.
How many wee picks they can eat.
No, not quite that extent. But yeah, that was pretty incredible. And I think it was about then as well that I signed my first contract with Canterbury.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so, it was pretty, again, like quite surreal. Like I'd played a wee bit of club footy, played 19s and then was signing this professional contract as a 19 or 20-year-old, I think it was.
Was that your only option?
No, I had an offer from Tasman as well.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. So Tasman actually offered first, and I remember talking to Louis about it because we were in the halls together, and he'd been talking to them as well, and we were like, "Far out, this is going to be awesome! Like, we'll go up to Nelson, we'll do this, do that." And then I think it was like 2 days later, Canterbury came to the party, and I was like, "Oh, sorry, mate. I actually might stick around." But like the dream, not the dream, but like I guess coming through the academy, you'd always want to play for Canterbury. I grew up here.
Yeah.
And they were always very good to me. So, it was pretty cool to be able to do that.
And your debut was a Shield game?
Yes, against North Otago, yeah. So, it's pretty awesome, actually. Dad obviously played for them, so pretty cool and defended the Shield, which was, pretty special.
How good was your dad? How high did your dad
Nah, he wasn't that good, mate. Nah, I think he was all right. He played North Otago. I think he might have played a game for Otago maybe. But I think he kind of sat on the bench for a few games. But it was quite funny because he always used to tell us a few yarns. Like he played for the Sharks at Dunedin, played heaps of games there. But when it was during lockdown, and you know how they were showing all those repeats of old games and stuff?
Yeah.
There was this North Otago versus Marlborough game or something. Like, I don't know. It must have really been scraping the barrel for games to show. And we're sitting at home watching, and me and my brother were there, and he goes, "Oh, boys, like, look at this, buddy, like, you got to come and sit down and watch this." And we sat down and watched the first half, and I reckon he probably went to every ruck in the entire game, like just ruck. Like, and to be fair, so did all of the forwards, and he was sitting there, he was like, "Oh, it's not quite as good as I remember it."
The ruck inspector.
Yeah, literally the ruck inspector. So that was pretty funny. But no, he was half decent. But yeah.
Oh, that's so good. And like you mentioned COVID, like that was the year your 20s. Did that get cancelled?
Yeah. So 20s got cancelled. We had one camp, I think, and we were up in Palmy actually.
You made the team.
Nah, I made the camp. I honestly actually don't know if I would have made the team, to be fair. At the time we had there was Josh Lord, there was Tupou Vai, and there was Tane Plumtree and myself.
Oh yeah.
So there's a few others as well. Obviously Zach Gallagher was up there as well with us. So we're pretty stacked, and we didn't even get to that point. We literally had the first camp, and halfway through the camp, all that COVID stuff started to come out, learning about what was happening overseas, and when we were meant to go to Italy, I think for the tournament. So I think they sent us home saying that, look, stay tuned for an announcement, but it's likely going to be cancelled. And then fell to bits, and we were into lockdown after that. I think probably a week after that, really. Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
Niggly though, eh? Would have been interesting.
Very niggly. Yeah, well, that's the thing. And obviously, it's like at the time I wasn't too gutted because, as I say, like I didn't know if I was going to be in there. I think it would have been a lot worse if I'd named the team and then it happened, and it would have been like far out. Could have been going to Italy, but yeah.
So then your big decision to move up to Auckland, obviously it's a big one.
Yeah.
You're here in Christchurch. You'd gone through the academy system.
Yeah.
How did you?
Yeah. So
this one slip?
I think it was probably about a month after lockdown. To be fair, I hadn't even played for Canterbury yet. I was just sitting at home in my flat, and being a uni student, I think it was probably about 9:30, and I just got out of bed and making my breakfast and see a unknown number pop up, and I just about let it go through because I was like, far out, I've just woken up, like I don't need this. And It was Rangy, and I kind of knew Rangy a wee bit because I'd been at school with his son Harry at college for a couple of years. So I wouldn't say I knew him, but I'd met him. And I was kind of like, far out, what's going on here? And he just said, look, we're really impressed by you, and we're keen to get you up to Auckland and come play for the Blues. We want to get you up for a couple of days and show you around and do all this. And he even said at the time, like, we want to try to get you up to train this year, but through a few New Zealand rugby things, I don't think we'll be able to, but we'll see what we can do. And got off the phone, and I was just like, far out, what was going on? Like, as I say, I hadn't even played for Canterbury at the time, like, and I was just, I think I called my flatmates were all there. I was like, would not believe it's just been on the phone. And called mum and dad, and they were just like, far out. And then I think pretty soon after, the Crusaders came and said, look, like, we had this on the table, we just were waiting to present it, but obviously this has kind of brought everything forward a wee bit. And I guess that's when I kind of probably started the, jockey between the two for about a month or two. Like, honestly, I probably would have been about a month. Like, I just, I'm quite a big overthinker. So, like, I would wake up one day and be sure that I was going up north, and then I'd wake up the next and be like, oh, no, I'll stay here, you know. And honestly, went back and forth and went up to Auckland and had a visit and spoke to a lot of people, got a lot of different kind of viewpoints, I guess, and did a pros and cons list. Yeah. Honestly, most big decisions in my life come back to a pros and cons list. Helps just kind of seeing it laid out in front of you. Yeah. But then, I think it was bloody difficult because, as I kind of said with Canterbury, like, I owed a lot to the academy. Like, I came into the academy, as I say, probably around 93, 94 kilos, if that, and put on 10, 12 kilos in the space of a year and a half pretty much. And they'd given me so much, given me so much access to, like, when you're in the academy, you get to go to Crusaders previews, reviews and stuff. And as I say, they'd kind of done all that for me, and making the decision to go north felt like I was kind of a bit of a slap in the face to them, you know, and that was probably the toughest part I found, because I didn't grow up being a Crusaders fan. Like, I born in Dunedin, Dad obviously had an affiliation with rugby down there, so he supported the Highlanders, my older brother supported the Highlanders, and so did I. So it wasn't really like the I didn't really have like the hometown pull to go and play for my hometown team, kind of, I guess. And I guess from a practical point of view, I looked at, I think there was Whitelock, Scooter, Mitch Dunshay, Quinn Strange, and Romano at the time, who were all pretty well established, obviously, especially the top 2 or 3. And I think in Auckland they had Paddy, they had Josh Goodhue, Jacob Pearce, all great players, but potentially not as cemented in their roles as the others were. And I think the other thing for me was that, like, I'd always lived in Christchurch my whole life, and I think I was 20 at the time, and I kind of thought that if I signed with the Crusaders, that I could potentially be 34, 35 years old and have never left Christchurch, really. So I don't know, I just saw it as a bit of an opportunity to go and do something that would hopefully better me as a footy player and as a person. But yeah, as I say, it was a very tough decision for a number of reasons.
Quick one here from the Betcha desk. Heaps of sport on this weekend, starting with the Wallabies taking on the Lions in the first test in Brisbane. I'll be there, looking forward to that one. Also, the NRL is heating up again after the Origin interruption. Some real juicy matchups, quite hard to predict. So I've gone over to the Inter-Dominion harness racing at Albion Park this Saturday for a few Wallads specials. First one, race 2, major hot to place, $1.70. I think that's a little bit of value. Multi with race 6. This isn't value, $1.30, but Tay to place. Will trail and will place. And last leg of that little multi is race 8, Leap of Fame. Drawn 1. It's only $1.20, very short, but will lead and will win. That's $2.65 that multi comes to. Add in the Warriors if you're brave and loyal at $1.44 over the Knights. But as always, don't gamble more than you can afford to lose, and enjoy your weekend of sport.
Well, I reckon it's the most underrated challenge of rugby players
career, I reckon, those tough decisions where, you know, it's two good decisions to make, but it's so hard to make.
That's the thing. And like, as you say, it sounds silly being like, oh, it was a tough decision. Like, what do you mean? You've got these two great franchises. You're going to be good either way. But it's like, wow.
You feel like you're letting people down and you just feel like...
Yeah, 100%. And like, I feel like I'm quite a loyal person, and like someone like Webby, Steph in the academy, as I say, like they'd given me so much and been so massive for my development. And as I say, I felt like I was turning my back on them a wee bit. But I guess through being with Canterbury, I think I felt that I still get to, I guess, give back a wee bit to them for what they did. So, yeah, it was a tough decision, but, definitely glad I did it.
Yeah, I was going to say, you can't have any regrets.
No regrets. No, definitely.
You've gone up there and had a massive impact on the environment up there. How did you find it initially?
Yeah, it was pretty daunting. Like, I remember, again, it was a COVID year, so we didn't start till after, in the new year. And I'd been up north with some of my mates for New Year's, and I went to my new flat. And I was bloody lucky, actually, because I went into a flat with Tom Robinson, James Lay, and a few other boys who didn't play rugby. And we were right across the road from Blues HQ. And at the time, it was so daunting. Like, I remember my mates dropping me off on the 1st of January, and I literally was like, please don't. Like, I think one of them actually stayed the night with me because he needed somewhere to stay. But I was like, and I think I would have, like, these boys would have been like, this guy's an absolute loser. Like, I think I went straight up to my room, like, said g'day, and that was it. Like, I was pretty nervous about it all. But it was the biggest blessing in disguise, because Tom was quite a senior member in the team, even though he was quite young. Like, I think he captained a few games that year.
That's right.
And Jimmy Lay was new to the team as well, but he was just like an absolute legend, and everyone loved him. So I kind of got taken under their wing, and it was the best way to meet all the boys and be involved in everything, because any team events or anything that would happen, I'd automatically kind of be towed along to, because I was living with these boys. So yeah, it was the perfect kind of integration, I guess, into the team, and it was an awesome flat. Like, they were they all kind of not picked on me a wee bit, but they'd always play jokes on me, which, like, I don't know, I'm not like the biggest jokester. As I say, I don't take myself too seriously, but they would genuinely prank me. Like, there was this one where Tom was doing this documentary for Sky, and they'd actually done this prior to the documentary, but I'd been driving my car for about a month thinking that, like, there's some kind of funky smell in there, and I was like, this is so bizarre. Like, and after a week, because I'm a wee bit lazy, so it took me a week or so to actually do anything about it. So I, like, go through and clean out the car, and there's this beer bottle with mussel in it. And I was like, this is weird. And I'd given my parents my car for 2 or 3 days before that. So I rang Dad up, and I was like, you've left this bloody mussel in my car. The whole thing stinks. Like, anyway, take it out, still stinks. And I just couldn't figure it out. Anyway, we sit down to watch this documentary that Tom's filmed. They sent us like a preview. And in it, he talks about how they play heaps of pranks on their flatmates. And they all start cracking up, and I'm sitting there like, what's going on? And they'd put mussels all through my car, all through my, like, air conditioning ducts, like, everything. And they just hadn't told me. And I'd found out watching this doco, and they're all just sitting there absolutely losing it. And I just felt like the biggest idiot. Like, I was like, oh my God, I've literally found one of them in my car. And I was like, oh no. But
man, it must have stunk.
Oh mate, it honestly did. Like, I got like air fresheners. I went to like one of those commercial like one of those BP cleaners where you like have the air freshener and stuff. I was in absolute all sorts. And like, they'd done it so long ago that they almost forgot about it. And then they were just like, oh, this would be crack.
Surely he's cleaned it by now.
But yeah, it was like, as I say, like, it was so much fun, and they were the perfect kind of integration for me into the team. And yeah, it was a pretty awesome year.
Yeah, cool. And on the field as well, like, you made a pretty quick impact as well.
Yeah. So I kind of, like, signing the contract, I kind of thought that, you know, my first year is probably going to be a development year. I'm not going to play a heat. Like, I knew that I still need to put a lot of size on to get to where I wanted to be. And then, I think it was about round 4 or 5, got to debut against the Highlanders, which was pretty awesome. I had
against the Highlanders.
Yeah, for the Gordy Hunter as well. So mum and dad came up, and I actually had I was kind of like about to have my pre-game nap morning of the game and was shitting myself. Yeah. And I get a FaceTime from one of my mates, and I was like, oh, what the hell? And I assumed he'd just be saying good luck. And here's 10 of my mates at Dunedin Airport about to fly up to Auckland for the game. Cool. And they hadn't told me. And I was just like, oh, this is epic. And like, they were like, oh, we weren't sure whether to tell you, but we didn't want you to see us at the game and freak out. And then hung up the phone, and I literally had to like turn my phone off and just put it away because I just was so excited, nervous about, obviously making your Super Rugby debut. So, but yeah, debuted, played all right, managed to get a few more games that year. Got a concussion, I think, it was the last game of the Super Rugby Aotearoa.
Oh, yeah.
And it was pretty tough, actually. Like, I had a few concussions through club footy as well. And at that point, I've since figured out that a lot of it kind of stems from my neck. But at that point, I didn't know too much about it and would kind of have these ongoing headaches. So, like, I think I missed probably 5-6 weeks or so. Like, I missed the whole Trans-Tasman comp that year. Came back for the start of NPC, I think. And it was actually quite a tough time because obviously you go from these great highs of, being very lucky and everything kind of happening for you, and then all of a sudden it kind of, you think you're about to kind of kick off a wee bit and it happens. And the thing about concussion, I think, as well, is like with injuries to your leg or your shoulder or whatever, you get given a timeline, you get given things that you can do to improve, and you kind of know, as I say, you feel in control. Whereas with concussion, like, there's literally nothing you can do but rest. Yeah. And that, as a rugby player, as a competitor, is like the worst thing ever. Like, like, I don't know, and it was like very difficult, as I say, being someone who likes to be able to work towards things. Found it quite tough because I'd go into a running session and might have headaches, and I've got to chill out for a week again. And it's not like you can chill out and watch TV. You're meant to be off screens doing all this. So, like, I actually listened to a few of your podcasts.
I got you through.
It got me through. I remember listening to Bodie's one at the time, actually. Lying in bed. I was doing a bit of reading and stuff as well. But, yeah, it was just quite a weird one. Like, I don't know if you've had, like...
The worst thing I found was people would always ask you, how's your head? Or when's it going to be right? Or, like, how much longer you're out with your concussion? You're like... Oh, that's just the worst question because I got no idea.
Exactly. And like the worst thing is as well is that, like, because people are constantly asking you, it makes you think, oh, how am I? Like, do I have a headache right now? And like, you almost think yourself into having a headache, and you're just like, oh, it is tough. And then, as I said, we kind of started to figure out, did a few tests with these concussion people, that a lot of it kind of was stemming from my neck. Yeah. And did a lot of work. Like, I think Sam Whitelock's dealt with a similar thing throughout his career, and a few others. So that was kind of my first taste, I guess, of injuries at the highest level.
When they told you it was your neck, how was that still hard for you to comprehend that it was your neck? Because I remember getting that similar feedback, but I still was getting like headache, and I found it really hard to just say that this is my neck and play and go out there and play, because when you've got that headache, you're like, this just doesn't quite feel right.
Yeah, definitely. And I think what kind of helped in the end was there was ways we could like manipulate to bring on the sensations that I was getting. Like through a bit of dry needling or like massaging certain muscles or whatever, it would bring on the kind of. And I remember getting shown this diagram where it was like pain points from neck headaches, and like they were all kind of above your eyes, and the sides of your head here. And I was like, that's exactly where I'm kind of getting it. So, but you did right, like as you say, you're still kind of like, oh. And then the other thing is that they said, well, if you progress your training and if your symptoms worsen, then that's when it's kind of a bit of a red flag. So saw all of this, took my time back in, progressed through, and as I progressed through, I was sweet. So I guess that kind of gives you a bit of peace of mind.
Have you had many since?
I've had a few. Not really actually. I think I've probably maybe had one or two.
Okay.
None very major though. And fortunately, as I say, because I've been aware of this neck stuff, like we get treatment in it straight away. Yeah. Do a lot of work around my neck strengthening stuff as well, in the gym and all that.
I guess that can be a positive sometimes with your shoulder as well. You've had a decent break away from the game. You haven't taken any knocks over this period.
Exactly.
The brain's good to go.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so that was a kind of tough time, but luckily it didn't last.
Yeah, and then the following year, you're basically a full-time star. And
yeah, so following year was at 22. Yeah, was kind of in and out a wee bit. Played some decent footy, but I think I missed just through selection, missed kind of the back end of the year. And it probably wasn't until 23 where I really started to, I guess, work into more of a starting role. Like I think it was, I vividly remember a game, I can't remember if it was 22 or 23, but Luke Romano was really big. He's been really big for me through my career. Like I talk about loving that kind of line-out space.
he came up to the Blues as well.
Yeah. So he came up for 22 and 23 from memory. But like I talk about loving that kind of line-out space, and he was the guru in that area. And I was fortunate enough to play with him in Canterbury and up in Auckland, and he's taught me so much about that. And he also was massive for like my confidence in my game. Like he would always say to me that he'd say, one day you're going to figure out how big you are and your game is just going to take off. Because, I don't know, I guess being a lanky kid all your life and then you start to beef up and get a bit of size about you, you still kind of play like that lanky kid a wee bit, you know? So, and you probably don't have the confidence to use your body in the ways that you can now because you're 117, 18 kilos. So I think it was actually in the 22 season we played the Fijian Drua in Melbourne, and and I had quite a good game, and he came up to me and he said, "You figured it out now, mate. Now you just got to do it every week."
Let's go.
So that was a pretty cool moment. I actually think it was start of 2023 actually, in Super Round, and then managed to string together a few good games. Started a few against the Chiefs down in Hamilton, which was pretty awesome, and then came down here, and as I say, I was kind of building a bit of momentum, and then broke my arm, which was pretty tough. Like I think it was a pretty gruesome break, and the worst part was it was through an era of my own. Like I was kind of defending A of like a forward pod, and Scooter gets the ball at B, and I remember thinking, you know, young buck wanting to knock off the big fella, so like try and fire in as like a double shoulder, but I've just bit in and he's kind of tipped inside, and as I've gone in, off has gone to smoke Scooter as well, and my arm's just been trapped between Offer and Scooter, potentially the two biggest, strongest people in New Zealand rugby, and arms just snapped, literally both bones, and it was like kind of pointing out here.
Oh, yuck.
Yeah.
What's the feeling like? You got no feeling, or was that just...
And I honestly made the tackle, and it was like, I didn't really happen so quick, and I looked down, and I was just like, and the worst part was his play kept going on. So I'm just lying there in the middle of the field with my arm like this, and Tam starts backing up as to like get in position for a carry, and he's like genuinely about to stand on me. I was like, oi, oi, oi. And he kind of looks and he's like, oh, and then play stops and the physios come on. But that was pretty tough again. Like I think with any other injuries I'd had before that, they were kind of minor ones, maybe 3, 4, 5 weeks or whatever. And as I say, I probably hadn't been starting, so they weren't really, I guess you're gutted, but you're not like, I might not have been playing anyway. Whereas at that point, I'd kind of had been starting the last 3 or 4 or 5 games. So that was pretty frustrating. Very frustrating.
And then 2024 is the year Vern comes in.
Yeah.
How did that change things for you?
He was massive for me. He introduced like a different side of rugby for all of us, I think. And for me personally, it was massive. Like coming up through the system in New Zealand, you're kind of always taught to, you're taught your 1-3-3-1 or your 2-4-2 or some form of structure. And he kind of came in and just flipped that on his head and said, no, like we're not playing structure, we're playing vertical rugby, we're bashing teams up physically, suck them in and then play around them type thing. And like I remember having a conversation with him, I texted him before he came up to Auckland and just said, look, like what do you need from me? I've got an NPC season here to try and work on my game. what can I be better? And he sent through a list of things, and I think I respond well to his kind of coaching style because growing up, Dad was quite similar to that, like no nonsense, kind of straight to the point. If you need a bullet, it'll give you a bullet, you know, and you just know it all comes from a place of care and a place of him wanting you to be the best version of yourself. And yeah, absolutely loved the style we played, because I think the thing for me has always been my physicality, like my kind of work rate and skill set and aerial work is probably my strength, whereas my physicality and the clean, carry, tackle has always been my biggest work on. So playing under Vern, training under Vern was kind of just thrown in the deep end, like, you know, go and do it or you're not going to be on the field.
Live all the time?
Not live all the time, but there's certainly a number of blocks that'll go live, and if it's not close enough to live, then he'll let you know about it. But he was so good for us, because obviously we're a very talented team and we've got such great athletes, and I guess he just figured out the best way to kind of unlock them and unlock us and play our best footy.
Yeah, and sort of found like an identity of the style that you wanted to play.
Yeah, massively. And I think, I think it's been cool to see. Like, I think the Chiefs kind of started to play like that this year a wee bit as well, probably a bit more of a hybrid approach, and it's pretty awesome, I guess, to see that, because obviously it's quite a French style. Like, he would show us a lot of clips of France and how they played, and took us a while to get there, but it's cool to see that once we got there, we were able to figure it out and make it work.
It's hard to stop when you've got your big bodies getting gain line and playing on top. It's very hard to.
And I think that's why it worked so well for us, because we had Paddy, we had Aki, Hoskins, Dalton, Offa, you know, and it's, as you say, like, once those guys are going forward, it's bloody hard to stop. So he kind of, I guess, figured out the parts we had and how best to utilise them and make it work in a way that suits us.
And then going into the final, what was that like?
Pretty awesome. As I say, like the 2022 when we made the final, I wasn't a part of it. Well, I wasn't on the field. And then 24, obviously it had a pretty good year, and kind of like we'd seen this picture before, great regular season, get through to the playoffs. It was just surreal. I think when I woke up and saw it was raining that morning, I was a very, very happy man. Obviously the Chiefs that year kind of played quite an expansive style with D-Mac at 10, you know, getting lateral, picking off runners and stuff. So that wet weather, you know, obviously we were quite a set piece orientated team that year. And I think everything just kind of fell in place for us. We probably had our best game of the year in the final one, which is obviously, as a player, as a coach, that's kind of what you train for. So it was an unbelievable occasion. Like, one of the reasons I'd gone up to Auckland was because I could see that they were building something kind of new with Leon at the helm, and wanting to be a part of that, like wanting to be a part of the first championship winning team, and I think it was like 15 years at the time, but obviously 18 by the time we won it. So I think that was probably obviously I was always happy with my decision to go up to Auckland, but that really hammered home that, like, I'd done the right thing, and this is just very special to be a part of.
And did you know your form was good enough to become an All Black that year?
I knew I'd been playing well, like, and there's always, I guess, always things that I knew I could work on and do better. So, like, as a player, you're never really satisfied after a game, mate. You're like, oh yeah, I did this well, but I could have done this, whatever. But I definitely heard a wee bit of there was a bit of media stuff around it. Like, I did a few interviews with the news and stuff, which I hadn't done before. So I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. But it was quite funny. Like, all my family and stuff and friends never talked to me about any of it.
Oh, really?
They never mentioned, like, oh, do you think you could be a chance or anything? Like, and it wasn't until I found out I was going to be in there, they were like, oh, like, we didn't want to say anything. And I was like, well, I obviously see, like, I'm at training, I'm on social media, I see the occasional thing, but I was just kind of focused on enjoying my footy. Like, as I say, having injuries the past few years, I was just happy as to be out there and just trying to make the most of it and have as much fun as possible.
Yeah, how'd you find out?
It was a bit of a weird one, actually, because I didn't actually get picked in the squad initially. I just so I got called from Razor on the Monday. Yeah, and he said, look, I'm really sorry, we're not going to pick you, but we want you to come in as injury cover for 2 or 3 weeks. And I was stoked. As I say, I never really expected to make it. Like, I knew I'd been playing well, but I know that there was a lot of great players out there. And I was like, oh, mate, that's incredible. Thank you so much. Like, I really appreciate the opportunity. And bring Dad, and he was kind of like, I thought you might be in there. And I was like, well, I pretty much am in there. Like, take what I can get. But so yeah, it wasn't. And then the team kind of got named, and I had people messaging me like, oh, like, really sorry, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I was like, don't be sorry. Like, I'm in there as cover. It's all good. So yeah, it was pretty awesome.
Did your mum know? What did she know more than anyone else?
Nah, she didn't. She had no idea. She had no idea. No, funnily enough, the nutritionist doesn't sit at the selection table. I wish she did, actually, because I might have a better chance.
Be captain.
Yeah, I know. Nah, she had no idea either, and I called her, and she was pretty emotional about it all. But yeah, it was pretty special.
How was it with her in there?
It was fine near the end of the season. I remember actually after that I flew home because I was obviously going to be going away for a while. So flew home, was at home with Mum and Dad, and Mum left the day earlier. And I was like, look, I'm saying goodbye to you as my mother for the next 3 to 4 weeks and saying hello to you as my nutritionist. Like, don't be lurking around. Because and at the time I was pretty harsh. Like, I imagine as a parent, that's the last thing you want to hear. But she was awesome. But like, from my point of view, I was like, I'm going into this new environment, trying to meet all these new friends and like, you know, I guess impress. And like, the last thing you want is your mum looking over your shoulder. But no, she was very good. Like, she was, kind of gave me my space, and occasionally she'd text me and be like, oh, like, you want to come around and she like have a yarn or whatever and catch up. And it was actually pretty funny. Like, by the end of it, once I got to know the boys, they'd all just give me stick about it. Like, there was one time, I think it was maybe my second week, we're in Auckland for the England test, and I did a promo, so I got back late for dinner, and I come into the dining room, and Mum's sitting there on her own, and I was like, oh, no one's around, like, it should be sweet here. And I sit down and have dinner, and then about 5 minutes later, one of the massage slots must have finished. Oh, yeah. So like 15 boys all come walking through the room, and here's Mum and I sitting eating dinner together. Everyone's just got something to say. Oh, isn't this cute? Oh, this. But no, it was actually very special, and I think she loved it as well, because obviously she's been in there for 17 years or whatever it is, and I guess told us about the environment and what it's like and stuff. But for her getting to share that, I think was pretty awesome. I think she loved it, and I loved it as well. Like, it's, you know, when you're away for a long time, it can be tough, and being able to have someone like that to fall back on is pretty awesome. Yeah.
Was it hard for her to leave? You must have been quite young when she first started. Like, so she a lot of time on the road, eh?
Yeah, she started in 2008 and didn't travel for the first 3 years, and then started to travel after that. But yeah, I think she did find it quite difficult, especially when we were younger. But we're very lucky. I think at the time my older sister was kind of at the age where she could look after us a wee bit, and Dad could look after us, and my gran would come and look after us. So we're very lucky. But I think she did find it quite difficult.
Yeah, mate, it's probably one of the biggest challenges, how much time you're on the road as a All Black staff member.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially with young kids. And and what about your debut?
Yeah, so I knew that I was in camp for like 2 weeks, and all the I guess replacement guys or injury cover had been told they were going home on the Sunday after the last England test. Oh, yeah. But I hadn't really been told anything, and I was kind of like, well, what's going on here? And I went up to Moose, the manager, and he said, oh, look, we need to figure this out. Just, you know, let me get back to you. And it was like 11 p.m. after the test on Saturday, and he just said, look, like, I don't know yet, so I'll let you know in the morning. So I went back to my flat and started packing up my stuff, because I was going to drive back to Christchurch the next day for Canterbury. So I was packing up in my flat and had it all ready to go, and then get a call on Sunday like, oh, look, we need you to come over to San Diego. And I was like, oh, you little ripper. Like,
sweet.
Hey, sweet, yeah, good. Never been to America before. This is cool. And I was hopping on the plane, and I was kind of looking around, and Paddy wasn't there. And it was just Toops, Scooter, and myself. And I was kind of like, far out. I don't want to get too carried away here. But I was like, you know, this could be pretty cool. And got over there, got named to debut. Worked out really well. My brother was moving over to London to live, and managed to change his flight to come through LA in San Diego. So him and Dad came over. It was an awesome occasion. Like, it was, I got a wee bit of a, I had a wee bit of a tough week actually, to be fair. I love my golf, and Bodie had organised a round at Torrey Pines.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that'd be awesome, you know. And we'd obviously come from New Zealand winter, go and play Torrey Pines, and I didn't have any sunscreen, and play 18, and it's probably about 33 degrees probably, absolutely scorching hot, and none of us in our group had sunscreen. We tried to find some at the turn, couldn't find any, and I got burnt to a crisp.
True.
And I have a line-out meeting with Jace Ryan that afternoon, and Scooter and a few of the other boys. And I was like pretty sunburnt. And Jace goes, oh, you all right, mate? I was like, yeah, good. He goes, you been at golf? I was like, yeah. And I could see that he was a bit like, you need to be better than that.
Yeah.
And he gave me a bit of a rocket, which I probably needed. And he just said, look, mate, you're playing your first test, you need to get your prep right. And it was good for me, because it was a bit of a wake-up call that I'm not there to play golf, I'm there to, you know.
Yeah.
And we laugh about it now. Like, we joke about it all the time, him and I. And I'm glad we can, because at the time I was absolutely shitting myself. I went back to my room and I was like, oh, what have I done?
Cover
like,
yourself in aloe vera.
Yeah, like, oh, I went into the ice bath, like, oh. But yeah, and then, got on the field, and having mum and dad there was pretty special. Like, it was quite a cool moment, warming up, heading back into the sheds, going around, I guess, shaking hands with all the boys, and then getting to give mum a big hug before I ran out.
Yeah.
That was quite a cool moment.
Was your sunburn still sore?
Nah, it cleared up by then. It cleared up by then, luckily.
Oh, you're a quick healer.
Yeah.
And then the following week, I'm not sure if it was following week or not, but I remember the Argentinian game. That was one where, the try of the season you scored, mate.
Mate, I honestly, yeah, that was pretty. Yeah, it was an awesome game. Obviously, wrong side of the result, which was pretty tough. But yeah, the try was quite funny. They showed a clip in the team meeting, like around work rate and stuff in the game.
Yeah.
And they had that one of me running to score the try, and they highlighted me and said, like, deliberate change of speed. And I'm just running so slow at the back. Ball bounces like 4 times, and then I get it on like the 5th bounce. I was like, mate, if I had a deliberate change of pace, I would have been right up there with everyone else. But no, I was very lucky. Like, it was literally just the bounce of the ball that got me there. But I guess running the fat man's track up the middle.
Yeah, what a moment.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome, eh?
And did you feel comfortable at this point that you were an international lock?
I think after that game it was big for my confidence.
Yeah.
Like, I think obviously Fiji was awesome, and it was a cool moment, but it probably wasn't until that Argentinian game. But it was a really tough one, because I'd had a decent game, but we'd lost. So it was, like, I had a lot of friends and family that were quite happy for me. Like, oh, you played so well, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, we lost.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of all that really matters to me. Like, you're in the All Blacks playing against Argentina and you've lost a test match. So that was bloody tough, and I guess that's why it was quite pleasing the next week to get another shot and go out and get a good win. But yeah, it was a pretty whirlwind few weeks, like going from thinking I was going home to then debuting 2 weeks later, starting 2 games back to back. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, and what's it like in the All Black environment? What's the biggest difference did you find?
I think just the level of intensity and the level of detail.
Yeah.
I think that year was quite unique, because coming from the Blues, where we didn't have a lot of detail within our attack shape and stuff.
True, yeah.
Getting I guess, accustomed to that 10 days before a test match was quite difficult, but it's also just, as I say, the level. Like, you go to training and everyone's got a purpose. And it brings the best out of you. Like, you're never comfortable. No one's ever satisfied, and it's an awesome environment to be in as a competitor.
It's cool. And I see you've signed on till 2028.
Yeah. So
big plans in the future.
Yeah, pretty exciting, really. I think I was quite fortunate, to be fair, because that was after I got injured as well. So I guess it's quite nice. Yeah.
And the World Cup's probably one big goal or target for you.
Yeah, for sure. I think anyone who plays rugby in New Zealand, I'd say, has the dream of going to a World Cup. You grow up watching Richie, Dan, Kieran Reid, all those guys, in 2011, 2015, going and winning World Cups, and you dream of one day being able to do the same. So it's definitely a massive, massive goal of mine. It's kind of the pinnacle of rugby, and yeah, it'd be pretty incredible to be a part of.
Yeah, how hard was it watching the latest All Black announcement, knowing that you're not available? Was it interesting for you to just see who they're looking to go for? Did you pick Fabian?
Yeah. I thought Faves would be in there. He's had an amazing season. He's an absolute specimen.
Yeah,
like big body. It was difficult. I think the one thing I've kind of probably learnt with my injuries is to kind of not get too worried around what you can't control. Like Aaron Webb, the academy manager, I remember when I first got an injury, I think it was around my concussion stuff actually, he said there's no point worrying about what you can't control. And he said there's always an opportunity that will arise from an injury. So I think I've really tried to kind of buy into that, this injury. Like I've picked up a few papers at uni, moved into a flat with some schoolmates just to get away from footy for a bit. But I guess that kind of helped. But you're right, it is still tough. Like I think, as I say, the first few games after I got injured were difficult. And then probably the last few were really difficult, the playoffs, like going down to Hamilton, watching that game, coming down here, watching the game against the Crusaders. Those are the ones you want to be a part of as a competitor.
Yeah.
And watching the announcement was definitely difficult. And I'd say watching tomorrow will probably be difficult as well. But it's all just kind of fuel, I guess. You know, like it's all just to be used as motivation. And I know that hopefully I'll get to be back out there soon, and I can use all this kind of pent-up energy and I guess wee bit of hurt from missing out for a while to hopefully try and play some good footy.
Yeah, well, Canterbury are going to have one stacked NPC side this year.
Yeah, it's like
the NPC, a lot of guys have missed out who happen to play for Canterbury.
Yeah, well, the NPC comp's looking pretty strong, to be fair. I think Tasman's looking pretty sharp as well, with the likes of Dave and Ethan Blackadder and all sorts.
Yeah, mate, it's going to be some season.
Yeah.
And then back with the Blues. Have you signed till 28 with the Blues as well?
Yeah, we're 28 with the Blues as well, yeah. So really excited for that. Like I think we're losing a few next year, a few of the older boys. But I think we've got a really exciting young group. I think the kind of a lot of the core of the team's still there. And I think obviously this year was a wee bit of an up and down year. But I think we kind of showed at the end of the year that when we're on and when we're at our best that we can compete with anyone. So
yeah,
it's bloody exciting really. I guess we'll kind of be probably in a similar position to where you guys were this year, you know, coming back with a bit of a point to prove. So yeah, it's exciting.
Chuck you back out on the field and you're going to be tough to beat.
Oh mate, I can't wait to get back out there.
Well mate, we have gone to the questions. Ask him how he did his AC joint twice.
Yeah, that's a good, a wee bit embarrassing, but so I was through that club footy period.
Yeah,
I was at uni and we'd just won. Old boys had just, I think we'd beaten New Brighton or Marist or something, and we won it was Marist actually in the final play. We won the DCL Shield, which is like the Ranfurly Shield of Christchurch Club Rugby, and it was the final regular season game, so we had locked it up for the year, and we had a pretty big night afterwards, and managed to trip over and land on my shoulder without my arm coming up to brace.
Yeah.
And I've landed on it and it's just gone up and done my AC. And I was like, shit, that's sore. And I've woken up in the morning and it was even worse. And I've gone into the physios and had to tell them that I've hurt my AC while
just
drinking.
Fully hammered.
Yeah. And then anyway, so that was like, I don't know, it was a wee bit like, accidents happen, whatever. And then it was actually, I felt horrible because I missed the semi-final. I couldn't play the semi-final. Managed to luckily win and then came back for the final, and that was the year we won it. And then probably about a month later, it would have been 3 months later, we were in our off-season and went to this uni event, and it was out at the New Brighton Surf Club, and they were pouring, they had this kind of, these big containers of homemade cocktails. And it was like a club event. There was this band playing and we were all dressed up in our tweeds and stuff. And anyway, you just kind of scooped it up with a cup. But it meant that the floor was quite slippery because people would spill. And I've arsed up again and landed on the other one this time.
And
done the other one. And I honestly, I can laugh about it now, but I was honestly in absolute stitches the next morning. Like, I was so worried, like, in the academy, and I'm just like, they're going to think I'm this bloody idiot who goes and does all this, like.
Yeah.
And I went into the physio room and I rang Tom Leo, who's the physio. I said, look, mate, I've had an absolute shocker. I need to come in. Like, I've hurt my shoulder again. And they were really good about it. They're like, look, mate, it's a mistake. Like, you haven't done anything intentionally. And I think John Roach, who at the time I didn't know that well, he comes out and he goes, look, mate, I think you just need to work on your dance moves, personally. And that was quite good, because I was honestly, like, I think I was almost crying. Like, I was so embarrassed and, like, so, just worried about what they're all going to think. And Roachy kind of took the edge off of it, which is quite nice.
It's funny when you're in that moment how hard those are, right? But then time is such a good healer. Like 2 years later, you can have a good laugh about it and just look back at it as a funny memory.
Exactly. And like at the time, obviously, I think I was 18 or 19 at the time. Like, you know, it's one of those things. It's not that deep. But as you say, at the time, I was like, everything's come crashing down. The world's over, like, far out. But yeah, I'm glad I can laugh about it now.
Oh, mate, that is a good start. Okay, next one. How many more years till he shaves his dome? You probably guess who this one's from.
Yeah, I know exactly who that's coming from. It's coming from George Bell.
The cheek of him.
The cheek of him. No, I do get quite a bit of flack about this, actually. I'd like to think that it's just my natural hairline. Yeah. I got photos when I was at school. I shaved my hair and it's kind of just that natural shape. So I'm thinking I'm going to hang on, but we do.
How long do you reckon? Full rugby career?
I reckon I can get my full rugby career.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Well, it might be a bit wishful thinking, but...
How long's Belly got you?
Yeah, well, he almost gave up start of this year. I think he's had a bit of a resurgence, but we do. Him and I often joke about potentially popping over to Turkey, but and getting a wee.
You could go see your childhood hero, Izzy Dag.
Yeah, I could actually. That's the other thing. I know. I heard a few boys.
A good deal for you.
Heard a few boys have done that, but I don't know if that's something I could ever do, and I don't know. I just think that I kind of back myself a wee bit.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to hang in there.
Okay, which 4 famous people would you invite to dinner and why? That's tough.
It's a great question. Steph Curry.
Oh, yeah.
Massive Steph Curry.
Are you a bit of a baller?
Oh, not really. Nah. Oh, a wee bit. Like, we had a court at home, but didn't start playing until I was a bit older, but just love watching it.
Yeah.
Rory McIlroy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Donald Trump. I think that'd be pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I'm not a supporter, but I just think it'd be entertaining.
Mate, would be.
Who else? John Key. My flat in Auckland, we live down the road from John Key, and we see him out and about, and he just seems like the biggest lad. Like, we see him walking down with a tray of coffees, practicing his golf swing. We see him out raking his leaves, and we always kind of give him a toot and a wave, and he's got no idea who we are. But every time without fail, smile on his face, g'day lads. Like,
true politician.
Yeah, just absolute legend. So I think he'd be good fun.
2 politicians and 2 sports stars.
Yeah.
Mate, what a mix.
Yeah.
And you. Okay, does he prefer being a big fish in a small pond or a small fish in a big pond?
This is from my old flatmate who used to play all those bloody pranks on me.
John O'Hickey, this is.
Yeah, well, yeah, yeah. Johnny used to come out. I actually never said this, but I think it got misconstrued, I'll say, that I said something about being in Auckland versus being in Christchurch.
Oh, yeah.
And I think one of them said, so would you say, like, when you're in Auckland, you're a small fish in a big pond, whereas when you get back to Christchurch, you're a big fish in a small pond? And then for about, someone else has said this. And I was like, I think I maybe agreed and was like, oh, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
And then,
just run with it.
For months I was called the big fish. and then that was all my rugby mates, and then all my schoolmates and uni mates found out, and they started calling me the big fish, and I was like, this is not good.
I thought that was related to Paul Tito, but nah.
No, it wasn't at all, no.
Oh, that's good stuff. Okay. Which player has helped him the most in his rugby?
Luke Romano, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, as I touched on earlier, like, for my confidence, line-out stuff, around the field, off the field, he's also just a hell of a bloke.
Yeah.
Good to have a beer with, good lad. And yeah, I just think when he came up to Auckland for that year, like, he didn't have his family up there, so he was just so invested in the group. Boys absolutely loved him. And yeah, him and I used to, we got on well, keep in touch still to this day.
Mate, how good's that? I love that. Okay, keys to catching a kickoff. Underrated skill.
Oh, mate, probably the toughest skill on a footy field. I reckon.
Yeah.
I don't think you're asking the right person. I'm still learning that. I think for me it's patience. Like I think you have to be able to read the flight of the ball first. So that's one thing I struggle with is you're always taught get in the air early, which is important, but there's no point getting in the air if you're not in the right place. So being able to kind of have that patience to wait, see the ball kicked, yeah, I know where it's going now. Then that's when you've got to be fast and get in the air. But being able to have that patience to read it first, I think that's the big thing. And I'm telling this to myself as well.
Sure, kick-offs to Sam Darry next year.
Yeah. But yeah, so no, it is a tough skill, but it's one of those things you kind of start to get better at with time.
Yeah, well, that's it. Practice. Okay, who's the coolest player in the Blues?
Coolest player?
Coolest.
What do you define as cool? Well, I'm going to probably upset a few people here. Well, I'd say obviously probably Rico, if that's what you're meaning, cool, you know.
Yeah, well, cool, yeah.
Cool, you know, he's got, you know, wears nice clothes and does all this stuff on social media, which I reckon's awesome, but he'd probably be the coolest, I'd say.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. I wouldn't think. I don't know. I was just thinking, I don't often see you in those fashion. I wouldn't say I'm very cool. Nah, I don't know if I quite fit into that category. The boys actually have said that one day I'll start to dress like an Aucklander, but I haven't quite got there yet. I think.
What is Auckland dress like?
Well, these baggy jeans are probably actually getting up there a wee bit. The boys down in Christchurch give me a bit of stick about them. I don't know what being. Well, you're obviously asking the wrong person because I don't. But I don't know, I guess just, you know, wearing nice clothes, whereas I usually kind of rock up to training in my captain's run kit. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Toughest challenge about being a pro?
I reckon the thing that probably surprised me the most was obviously it's physically demanding, but I think the mental demands. I think you're constantly worried about performing well, and to do that, you have to get your prep right, which is, you know, sleeping well, eating well, getting your mindset right, getting your recovery right, and like the mental toll that can take of week after week after week after week of doing that. I think that's probably the thing I didn't anticipate coming into the professional environments, like, because being young, your body bounces back quite quickly, but mentally, especially for someone like me who, as I said, is a wee bit of an overthinker, mentally being able to keep getting yourself in the right headspace to then be right up here come Saturday game time. Yeah. That's probably the thing I think I didn't anticipate coming in, and it's been a bit of a challenge. And I've definitely gotten better. It's something that probably with age you learn how to manage a bit more through better balance and being able to get away from the game and have your kind of your switch offs, I guess, that help you reset and make sure that when you're in, and when you're not, you can kind of get away a wee bit.
Yeah, that's cool. Not many people would think of that as being a bigger challenge.
Well, I never even, like as I say, I never even really considered it, yeah.
Okay, last question. Best piece of advice for a Woodlad listener?
Best piece of advice? I'd say enjoy. Like, I think for me, I always come back to that, is to just have fun. Like I think this is why I love club footy. Like I help coach a club in Auckland, and I love going down there and helping out, because you just see guys that literally play footy because they love it, you know, and being in a professional environment, you can get caught up in the pressures of results or performance or whatever, and don't get me wrong, I'm not immune to that, but like being able to put everything in perspective and just say, look, I play because I love it and I want to go out and just have fun. I think that for me, keeping that at the forefront of everything you do is massive, I think. And it sounds cliche, but it honestly just, it's awesome, I reckon. Just, we love footy, we play footy, we're very lucky to play footy. Yeah. A lot of people would love to be in our position, so making the most of it and enjoying it. It's
cool. It's cool when you go back to clubland.
Yeah, 100%.
Nice humbling reminder.
Yeah, well, it just gives you so much perspective. Like you might have had a shit day at training and you might have dropped a few balls and had a shocker, or a shit game in the weekend, and turn up there and none of them care. You know? Like,
No, yeah.
well, I had a rowing coach as well who back in the day, Tony O'Connor, he actually went on to coach the men's 8 at the Olympics. But he said something that stuck with me to this day. He said he was coaching an Irish team and he said there's a bloke walking down the side of the lake. He had a cigarette in his hand and a bag of groceries in his left hand, and he was happy as could be. And he said to his crew, he said, to you guys, this is the most important race of your life. And he pointed at that guy and said, to that guy over there, he couldn't give a shit what happened. He just wants to get home, like, you know. And he used to always tell us that because, as I say, like, perspective's so important. Like, to us, whatever, this game might be the biggest thing ever. To someone else, they couldn't care less. You know? So it's so easy in your own head to hype things up and get caught up in bad performances or whatever. But at the end of the day, like, it's all perspective, and it don't, you know, like, often it only matters to you.
Yeah, so true. I remember, like, kids was a good example for that with me. Like, when I had kids, you know, you come back from a bad game, they don't give a shit. They just happy dad's back, even though you've had an absolute shocker and you're getting abused. They don't actually care. So it's a cool way to look at it, that different perspective, because I know in your head you think it's like a catastrophe and like life's almost over, but reality is not too many people care.
Yeah, exactly. And like a week or two goes by and no one's going to care. So.
It's that whole time's a good healer thing that we spoke about before. But mate, what an episode.
Yeah.
I highly recommended for Louis Chapman, and geez, you have not disappointed. This has been one of the all-time greats. Champion lad, awesome story, and awesome to get you on and share your story, mate.
Cheers, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure. Been a long time listener, so nice to feature.
Mate, absolutely.
Thanks to Betcha for bringing you that episode. If you did enjoy it, please give it a share. Be very much appreciated. Cheers.